are the 5 things they don't tell you about, or nobody told me about, and I couldn't find any information on this to be ready for having my rotator cuff repair. Now, mine was just a supraspinatus tear. They had to just reattach supraspinatus, so it was arthroscopic. 3 holes total on the shoulder there that I've got. Got a little nice little bruise left over for uh, running down the arm to remind me about it from a few weeks ago. So I'm now over 2 weeks out. I'm 2.5 weeks out of surgery. But there's some things that I just wanted to let people know about just to help you out if you're going to have shoulder surgery in the future, something to be ready for, whether it's a supraspinatus tear or even a more significant, like other people I've known have had to have their shoulder replaced recently. Um, so if it's a total shoulder replacement, probably similar things you need to be aware of. As you can see now, I'm using my hand here. So, but shoulder replacement, biceps tendon repair, things like that. These are the things you should be aware of. So I've got the 5 things here that I wasn't aware of. I saw a lot of people doing tutorials on putting on a shirt, and they just tell you, oh yeah, you just kind of roll out your shirt and you pull it up, put it up one arm, put on the other arm, and then pull your head through it. Yeah, very difficult the first week after surgery. That first week, I needed lots of help from my wife. I had to use big, oversized, stretchy shirts, and they were still hard to put on. So I would say tight shirts like this, if that's all you have, go and buy some really loose, stretchy shirts to have ready for after surgery, because putting on a shirt was so difficult. And along those same lines, taking a shower, very difficult that first week. They most likely will give you a nerve block. I think they're doing that to everybody now, where they're going with the needle in the neck here and they just hit the brachial plexus, numb out your whole arm. So the first 3 days after surgery, I had no real use of this hand. This hand's kind of just hanging there. It was pretty much a dead hand, just hanging there. And if I tried to do something with it, it was very awkward. I didn't have control. So you're not helping with that hand at all, and it's just hanging there. And when you take a shower, you're holding this as you get your sling off. You're holding your arm because it feels like it's going to fall off. So you need somebody to wash you while you're in the shower. If you don't have anybody to do it, it's very difficult. You can try to put something on where you can just rest your hand on it, or rest your hand on something so it doesn't just hang there. Having it just hang there dead weight the first week, very difficult. I wouldn't say impossible to do it, but it's just very difficult. So be aware that you'll need some loose shirts. Practice putting on a shirt with one arm just hanging there dead, and do that beforehand so you know what kind of shirts you need to have. And then also prepare with the shower by having an extension, not just because you can take your good arm and just wash your whole body with this one once you're able to not hold your arm anymore. Once I got past that first week and I could just let my arm hang there, I was able to wash the rest of my body, but then you can't wash anywhere else. So it's good to have that handled extension so you can wash and get everywhere. You can reach your back, reach everything with this one hand, including the most of this arm. And then what you can kind of do as you get past that is you can just grab the loofah and just wash that arm with it. So after you get past the first week, you can shower easier, but it's definitely helpful to have one of those extension things that you can put soap on and reach back behind you and stuff like that. You definitely are not going to want to even try once you get, now I'm 2.5 weeks out now from surgery. So I'm wanting to try to externally rotate my arm, and I'm wanting to try to reach back. No, don't try to do that. That does send you into pain. I haven't had any pain since surgery, but that definitely hurts trying to reach behind. That's something, a no-no. They've told me don't reach anything behind you and don't externally rotate like this. Both those things are very painful. And well, they just let you know it's not very painful, but it gives you a twinge and tells you to stop. Your body's telling you to stop on that one. Nothing on the surgery was very painful. I didn't need to take any pain meds. I saw some people making videos saying, oh, it's so painful, you got to stay ahead of your pain by taking all kinds of pain meds. No, I think I took Advil. I took a couple Advil one day after surgery just to help with the ice and the swelling. But because I had the ice on the shoulder trying to keep the swelling down, so I took some Advil, but I wasn't in pain at all since the surgery. So your mileage may vary. If you're having my mom had her entire rotator cuff had to be, they had to open her to attach the whole rotator cuff and pull the biceps tendon up. She was in a lot of pain afterwards. However, I know a guy from the gym who they had to cut him open to reattach his pec muscle and his torn biceps. So they had to take him open. He needed Tylenol one day after surgery. He had no pain either. So that that's just something to be aware of. You depend on your own pain tolerance and what kind of how invasive the surgery is. Most likely, it's not going to be very painful at all, unless you haven't, compared to the pain you were already in before you had the surgery. Before I had the surgery, I already could not take my arm up and do that without pain. I also couldn't do this without pain. I couldn't put my arm in a jacket without pain for the last year before the surgery. So nothing had really changed. The shoulder hurt before surgery, and when I did certain things, shoulder hurts after surgery, doing external rotation, reaching behind, sticking my arm through a jacket, all that stuff hurts. So yeah, first thing is just to be aware that putting on shirts is going to be difficult. So be aware of that. Have extra loose shirts ready to go. Having opened up shirts really didn't help. It was easier just to take a stretchy shirt and pull it over, well, pull it up over my arm and then pull it over my head was the easiest way to do that. Next thing is something nobody thinks about this, but I'm the one who does all the maintenance for our cars in the family. Change your oil, do all your maintenance beforehand, even though it wasn't due. Both cars were not due for an oil change. I got those cars oil changed early, so they're good to go for 3 months now. 3 to 4 months I can go without changing the oil. Don't have to worry about that. Topped off all the fluids, changed the transmission fluid, got the all the fluids and everything ready to go. So the cars don't need to be filled with fluid. They don't need to have um, oil changes or transmission fluid changes or radiator changes or brake jobs, all that stuff I did beforehand, especially the oil change. So I'm ready to go. If it takes me if it takes the full 4 months to get back to where I can crank a wrench again with this shoulder, that'll be the next oil change. So I'm good there. So that's just something nobody mentions. But if you're doing maintenance on your car, do that right before the surgery. I did that right before surgery, so I was ready to go. I also, in that same line, is recommend going to the gym and working out right before surgery too. That night before surgery, go in and working out, because you won't be able to do your workouts for at least. I mean, I did go to the gym within a week after surgery, within like the fourth day after surgery. I did go back to the gym, but very light. I couldn't do a lot without just, kind of feeling some achiness in the arm. It just wasn't. So I did some uh, treadmill, some bike and stuff like that, lifted a little bit with the right arm, but not a lot. So go work out hard and do your work on your car right before surgery. Get as much as you can done right before surgery, so you're ready to go and you've got all your other support muscles around your rotator cuff are strengthened and ready to go. And then one of the things that I didn't even think about this one, opening jars to supplements. Here I've just got collagen peptides, real simple thing there. Open this up in Mac. Every jar, bottle, supplement that I had that either had a childproof lid on it or a brand new lid that you have to break free. This one has been broken free. So, and I'm 2.5 weeks out now. The first week, just opening this lid, no, that was not possible. You're not opening any lids with this arm. This arm, for the first 3 days, I couldn't even use it at all. So I'd be trying to open lids with something sitting on the ground. So if you're going to be opening lids, get them loose or get them in some type of other packaging beforehand, or just get them loose so they're just hand tight, so you can just undo it with one arm without using your other arm, but it's sitting on a table. So have them loose so that you can get them loosened. This is just one example of something, but there's other jars and other things I had that there's no way I was going to open if I didn't have my wife there to hand her it, say, can you open this? There's no way I could open them one-handed. Some of my child-proof supplements, the gummy creatines that have the child-proof bottle, no way. I'm not opening those. I sat there and fiddled with it for a long time, and finally got one of them open, but one of them I did not. So anything you have to twist or torque with that arm, be aware of. That is something that is going to be very difficult to do. Now that I'm at 2.5 weeks, yes, I can start opening looser things that I don't have to struggle with. The third thing, just loosen all your jars and make sure you have somebody there to help you. If you don't have somebody there to help you open jars, that's when you need to get everything loosened, put it in a different type of container. Anything that has a lid that you need to open, even things like the milk that has the little lid, I couldn't get that open either. So, and that same line, anything you have to plug in USBs and unplugging USBs, oh, that is just yeah, no good. No bueno the first week. Now I'm finally to the point where I can plug in and unplug electronics from USBs, change camera lenses. I can do that now, but I could not change a camera lens or plug in a USB without using something to brace it on and just using this one arm and trying to stick it in. So that's kind of along the same lines of the opening and turning, torquing things with this arm. Very difficult to do. The final, the fourth thing, so the fourth thing on here that nobody told me about to be ready for was shoes, shoelaces, drawstrings. These pants have a drawstring on them. Tying the I couldn't tie a drawstring with one hand. You can't tie it up. So you make sure you have elastic pants that you can just pull up that'll stay up without tying the drawstring or putting a belt together. You just can't do that, especially when your hand is still dead from that nerve block. So make sure you get shoes that you can just slide on. I've got boat shoes on now. I can just slide them on and off without even bending down or getting down low, and I don't have to tie shoelaces on them. So the boat shoes, I've been wearing those to the gym, doing cardio in them too. They work okay for that. They're not as good as running shoes that you can tie real tight, but the boat shoes will have to do for now until I can. I still am not to the point where I can tie shoe. 2.5 weeks out, I'm still not to the point where I can tie shoelaces myself. I just don't even try to do it. You have to reach out too far and bend over, and I'm not quite ready for that yet at 2.5 weeks. So I'm just using my, as you can see though, I am ready to hold stuff. Have not been cleared by physical therapy yet to lift any weights with this arm or do anything other than just dangle it, but I can hold a pad. I can hold little light things, especially since I've got this on, and this is holding my arm up too. I'm not holding all of the weight of this pad. Not that this is so heavy, but certain things that I'm carrying. I can carry a cup of coffee here with this thing because this has given me the support to do it. First week, I could not do that. No, I wouldn't even have tried that. And then let's go on to the fifth thing. The fifth thing is that nobody told me about, I wasn't prepared for, is driving and preparing food. Kind of both those are the same thing. Before you have the surgery, practice driving with just your one arm. So I did do some practicing driving with just the one arm, but not to the point. I wasn't quite ready after surgery to deal with how difficult it is to drive and reach your turn signal over on the left side and reach your parking brake release over on the left side. Also, it was real windy right after surgery. I did have to drive somewhere because I had an appointment I had to get to, and there was nobody available to drive me. So the wind kept catching the door, and I'm trying to reach across, grab the door, and pull it closed without slamming. If you pull the door real hard against the wind and slam it into this arm, that's also not an enjoyable thing to experience right after surgery. So you don't want anything slamming into this arm. Every time a door would hit me in this arm, that's where the pain came in. Yes, then it became painful. So reaching across and pulling a door closed with that arm, if depending on which arm you're having done, just practice driving with the arm that you're going to be relying on, so you know how it's going to feel and what you have to deal with. Now that I have use of this hand down here, I can kind of hold the steering wheel too. If I'm switching or doing something, I can hold the steering wheel straight, keep the car from veering off. I can't do a full what is it called, a 4-point turn where you're going back and forth and back and forth. That's still kind of difficult with one arm, but I'm getting much better at the driving. So that's something to do. Practice driving and preparing food, which is the one arm. I did not think how hard it was to cut food, cutting veggies, cutting fruits, cutting steak, cutting meats, anything like that. When you're cutting with just one hand, also very difficult. I wasn't aware of that. So it's good to have food prepared, or just have a way to have food delivered to you that you don't have to cut. Even if you get a prepared meal for you, but you have to cut the steak and you're trying to cut it with one hand, it's very difficult too. So kind of along the same lines, driving and preparing food, just be aware of what you're getting into. You may have to modify your driving and make sure you drive easier places where you don't have to do 4-point turns, and have your food prepared for you in bite-sized pieces that you don't have to cut. So those are the 5 things that I just wanted other people to be aware of, things that kind of surprised me a little bit. I did not think, I practiced before the surgery on putting on these tight t-shirts before surgery with just one arm. And I thought, oh yeah, that's not going to be a difficult thing to do. But after surgery, you got a swollen shoulder, black and blue shoulder, and just dangling it over to try and pull something up over your arm, very difficult. So yeah, I was glad that I had a couple of extra large, extra stretchy shirts to put on. Even those were difficult. I had to have my wife help me the first couple days. And yeah, just be aware the first couple days you're not supposed to take a shower. You're not supposed to get your steri strips or the surgical incisions, not supposed to get those wet. So having somebody to help put covers or plastic bag or band-aids or something over it and keep them dry the first couple days, that was something that just a little bit to be aware of. You're not going to be able to take a shower right away. And then when you do get a shower, it's going to be difficult. That first shower I took 2 days later. Wow, was that difficult. I needed a lot of help on that one. Now that I'm 2.5 weeks out, I have enough motion in this hand. I can let it dangle there while I'm showering. I can help with little things, right? As long as I don't have to pick anything up. And my full dexterity is back. Still having no pain. Don't need any of the pain meds they tried to prescribe me for. So if people are, even the anesthesiologist told me that when you're going to come out of this, once that nerve block wears off, you're going to be in so much pain. You need to be ready to go with meds. No, once the nerve block wore off, I got use of my hand. I could feel my arm again. I've got a little bit of motion now at 2.5 weeks. I can do range of motion type stuff. No pain at all. So don't worry too much about the pain. Yes, if they're going to have to cut open to completely replace your shoulder, you might have a couple days more of pain. If they have to take your shoulder open to reattach to all four muscles of your rotator cuff and your biceps tendon, like they did with my mom, she was in excruciating pain afterwards. However, I know other people that I've talked to who said, yeah, they've had their pec muscle and their bicep reattached. We're in the same setup I am. And the worst thing for them was just getting so sick of being stuck in this thing. Pain, not a factor for a lot of people. So it just depends on your situation. But I'd say don't let anybody scare you and say, oh, it's just so painful to have one rotator cuff repaired surgically. It's arthroscopic. They go in there arthroscopically. It's not huge incisions. So it actually was not painful at all. And I never had any pain at all. I don't even know if I would have needed the nerve block, but the nerve block was nice to have there too. It was a painless thing as well, getting the nerve block. I think that is it. I think that's all the stuff I wanted to let you guys know. So hopefully you guys are able to watch this video for free. There should be no commercials on it. I make these videos on my channel for free for people to learn from or get different advice from for free. There should not be any commercials on that. I don't make any money from YouTube producing all the videos for the channels I put on YouTube. On other places, I do get paid, but on YouTube, I do not get paid by YouTube. YouTube doesn't reimburse me anything, so there should not be any commercials on that. Hopefully you can watch all my videos for free and take my advice with a grain of salt and take my advice if you want to follow it or just learn something from it. That's what I'm hoping you do. That's what I make these videos for, just so other people can learn from things that I've experienced in my life as well. So hopefully that helps you. If it does, great, let me know. And if you have some other experiences with rotator cuff repair surgery or any type of things to prepare for after the surgery that makes your life easier afterwards, just let me know, let other people know in the comments if you want. And otherwise, thanks for watching. You guys have a good day.